Hey y'all. Okay, so my therapist is helping me to unpack my relationship with men. And I've started to set stricter boundaries about what I will accept and what I won't accept from the jump. So before you even get to come and talk to me type shit, right? So the other day, I was at therapy, excuse me, and next to my therapist's office is like, it's not a police station, but it's like where they get dressed for like SWAT and to like do raids and stuff like that. So I'm sitting outside and I'm talking to my therapist. My therapist is talking to me, and a guy walks out, and I'm like, well, damn, his pants tight as shit. And I was like, shit, his shirt tight as shit too. Goddamn. So my therapist already knows how I get down. We always joking back and forth. So whatever. So we can, this locker here is getting on my nerves. Okay, so we continue talking or whatever, and the guy is on the phone, and he's like, over there or whatever. So we're continuing to talk, and then her coworker comes out and sits down, rude, because she know we in a therapy session, but she's like interrupting, but whatever. So we go inside to like get away from her coworker, and we come back out. So we come back out, and the guy is still outside, but he's like off to where we're sitting, we can't see him. So he sees us come out. So we sit down at the table and we're conversing or whatever and talking about whatever we were talking about at the time. And he steps out even more, and he's still on the phone. And he's like turning, smiling so that we can see. And from where I'm sitting, he has a beautiful smile. Like his teeth was on point. Like I'm talking about like Tay Diggs type of a smile. So y'all get where I'm going with it, right? So I'm still talking to my therapist or whatever. And that day I had on a brown dress. It was kind of short, but it wasn't really that short. But I had on this long mesh type of cover up, right? I was cute. You know what I mean? I was cute. So we're sitting there talking or whatever, and he's on the phone, and I can see him in my peripheral, and she can see him in my peripheral. And she said, that right there is what we call peacocking. And she says peacocking is like one of the most egotistical things that a man can do. So I was like, yeah, I know that they spread out their feathers so that they can get the woman that they want or whatever. She's like, exactly. So I said, okay. So she's like, all right, now let's break this down, because that is the type of man that you do not want. And with my therapist, she always says she doesn't really have to work that hard with me, because she just asks the questions and I come up with the answers myself, which with her other clients, she has to like really dive deep into whatever they got going on. So she's like, why isn't that a man that you would want? And I said, because he needs attention. And that's why he's coming from blocked from where we couldn't see him to where now he's visible. You know what I mean? So she was like, exactly. And then I stopped for a second, and she gave me the look, because she knows that she saw, the wheels turning in my head. And I said, that's the type of man that I do not want, because he's making himself be seen, which means he wants attention, which means that if me and him were dating, that is something that he wants. He just wants attention from women, and will pretty much do whatever it takes just to get attention from women. She said, correct. And I was like, okay, so what is the opposite of that? So I asked her that, and she pauses because she knows that I'm going to come up with the answer. So the answer that I came up with is, if a man, right? So we're still talking or whatever. And I guess he has to go inside and do suit up, boot up, whatever the fuck he got to do, right? So then he's like, from over there, he's like, hi ladies, how are you doing? And I'm like, we're like, hey. And then we go back to talking. So she's like, fuck, I lost my train of thought. Oh, so then she's like, I was like, so what is the opposite of that? And she waited for me, and I said, okay, so if when we walked out, he was hidden, right? And he would have stepped out, then went back, kind of like did a double take, came over, introduced himself and then asked our names. Because what we do not want is a man that's going to try to holler at us from afar. Like, hey, how you doing? See, what we didn't give him, and the reason why he immediately went back inside, was normally he's used to the hi, how are you type of a thing, but we didn't even give him the time of day. We acknowledged him, hey, how you doing, and we continued with our conversation. So now that I know that that's a boundary. If you do not make it an effort to come over to speak to me and introduce yourself, I don't even want you. If you have to make yourself be seen to be seen, I don't even want you. So now that I know that, I know for a fact that when I see that in other men, like out in public, out and about, when I'm not with my therapist, I know that that is not a man that I want to be in a partnership with, because any woman that gives him the time of day, he just gonna eat it all up, probably flirt, probably get a number, just so that he can feel good about himself. And what it made me realize is I used to date a motherfucker like that. Like, when it came down to it, because with me, I'm honest, I am transparent, and I can also be vulnerable. And with that comes, I ain't finna lie about shit. So I want you to be comfortable with not lying about shit. You see what I'm saying? So the conversation that me and my ex had was, when I used to ask, like, why are you always in another woman's DMs? And he said straight up that he just likes to get the yeses. Like, oh, can I talk to you? And for a woman to say yes to him, that just satisfies his day. And really made me realize, like, nigga, and I'm gonna call you a nigga because you ain't on God level. That's some thirsty ass shit right there. You know what I mean? So, ladies and men, but I'm talking to my ladies because I am that, you know what I'm saying? Find out what your boundaries are. Like, really sit down and think and analyze and observe. How that book go? Act like a woman, think like a man. Yeah. That right there really showed me a lot. That whole peacock and shit, I don't like that. If you got to fight to be seen, I don't like that, because your energy and who you are should just automatically speak for itself. You do not need to be seen all the damn time, because the person who needs to see you, or the people that need to see you, will, regardless of if you're standing off in the corner or if you're in a crowd full of people. Remember that.